Good morning, committee members and other parties. The evaluation committee meeting for request for qualifications, RFQ 25-00141, Land Development Policy and Regulations Consulting Services for the Development Services Department will be held by means of communications, media, and technology. Active participation will be for committee members only. Provisions have been made for members of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. Public attendees must remain on mute and keep your cameras off. For the record, this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be available after the meeting has ended. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect and shall end the earlier of 5 business days after the county posts its notice of intent to award the contracts associated with this solicitation, or on the date the procurement solicitation is canceled by the county. All questions, comments, and concerns must be directed to my attention and my attention only. My name is Dawn Demina, and I am the senior buyer for this project. Again, for the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. At this time, I will ask each committee member to introduce themselves for the record, beginning with the committee chairperson, Jose Fernandez.
Fernandez Development Services Department.
Michelle Heinrich, Development Services Department.
Morning, Richard Perez, Development Services Department.
Rebecca Hessinger, Community and Infrastructure Planning.
Thank you. For the record, we received 7 proposals. Procurement finalized its internal review and deemed the following proposals unacceptable: Imagery Educational Consulting Services, LLC, and the Kugler Group. The remaining 5 proposals are the Image Network, Inc., doing business as Dover Cole and Partners, Inspire Placemaking Collective, Inc., Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc., Johnson Engineering, LLC, and Wade Trim, Inc. The committee will now evaluate, discuss, and score by consensus the 5 proposals. Each proposal will be evaluated based on the information provided in the proposal, as it correlates to the requirements and evaluation criteria set forth in the solicitation. The proposals will be scored based on the following criteria. Criteria 1, qualifications. Proposer's organization and staff qualifications. Knowledge, education, training, expertise, and skills, 40 points. Criteria 2, experience. Proposer's organization and staff experience. Documented, successful, and relevant, 40 points. Criteria 3, technical approach. Proposer's understanding of the scope and objectives, technology, techniques, approach, and project management, 20 points. Criteria 4, DMDWBE bonus points, 5 points. Scores will be announced after the committee consensus scores for criteria 1 through 3 are recorded. The evaluation committee chairperson, Jose, will lead the discussion for evaluation and scoring. After each category is discussed, please state the final consensus scoring agreed upon so that I may record it in the scoring spreadsheet. After the conclusion of the scoring, I will verify the scores with the committee and provide the final scoring. With that, Jose, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Yamina. Good morning, committee members. First of all, I would like to thank every company that submitted for this bid. They did a great job putting all these proposals together. I know that it takes a lot of time to assemble this type of response. So we do appreciate the fact that they took the time to present their work to us. We found also that also we're well put together, and just a couple of clarifications. What we're looking is are companies that are suitable to do studies, plan, draft strategies or regulations. These are not intended to develop construction documents or engineer documents that may be used for construction later on. We're talking about studies, regulations, strategies, as I said. We felt that most of the firms that participated were in that line, and we appreciate that. With that being said, Yamina explained the way that the applications would be evaluated. some of these firms where we reach out the reference that were listed. There was a firm that I did not reach out say for reference. It is Kimley Horn, because they have been pre-qualified in the same area before. So we have a track of their work in the past. So we didn't feel the need to go and look up for reference in that case. All the other ones where we tried to reach out for reference in case that was viable as part of the evaluation procedure. With that being said, we can start with the first firm. And what I would like to do is to ask each one of the committee members to take a firm and explain what they feel about the firm, and then the other committee members can chip in and add any other comments that they feel. Any preference of which firm do we want to start? Committee members? Image networking would be Dovercall. Who, anybody wants to comment on Dovercall, or do you want me to do it? It's up to you guys.
I have comments on all of them just about.
Okay.
Go ahead and get started.
Okay, so Dovercall is a firm that has been established since 1987, about 37 years in business. They are well known for being a town planning firm, and they are recent, and they are known also for developing regulations, especially form-based code regulations. They are very well equipped to do visioning exercises. They manage charrette development pretty well, and they are well known nationally. In fact, their work has been featured in books. Part of the members of their firms, they are in academia too. So these are individuals that are well known nationwide for the work that they do. Most of their projects have been awarded by the Congress of New Urbanism, by APA, and the Florida Redevelopment Association. And they are part of the National Charrette Institute. Most of these members are AACP or CNU in terms of their qualifications. And we find out that the average in experience that the members that have been submitted is about 15 years, and they have been for almost 10 years in the firm. So that warranties that we're dealing with people that are not new in the business. They have been working for a while in the same area. And they have added some consultants, a group called Vanish also. We didn't add those as part of the counts for the average experience and years and tenure in the firm, because they are some consultants. But they provide a variety of projects like the Lakesville Envisioning, the Panama City Neighborhood Plan, the Downtown Oakland Plan, the Keystone Forward Form-Based Code, the Bradenton City of Bradenton Form-Based Code, Columbia Pike Neighborhood Plans and Form-Based Codes, Affordable Housing Density Bonus, that was the sub-consultants, and the Pinellas Park Comprehensive Plan Update. And that's also the sub-consultant. I feel that the company has enough experience to do the work. I was able to reach 2 references, talk to the town of Keystone, and they find out that the firm is very knowledgeable on the work that they do. When they don't know about something, they do deep research, and they bring the sub-consultants that are necessary to bring that expertise. They were very pleased with the public engagement procedures that they use, their knowledge about sustainability, and how they were able to integrate the different citizens in the development of their projects, either in person or virtually. In that case, the code was adopted, and this is one of the things that sometimes happen. Documents get done and they go to a shelf. In this case, they were adopted and they're being implemented successfully at this point. That was the same case for the Columbia Pike Neighborhood Plans and Form-Based Code. The same kind of knowledge. One of the things that they like about the consultant is the way that they think, that they are very creative. Their understanding of economics, which is extremely important when you're dealing with the land. good communication skills and collaboration. And they also try to work with local consultants, even though they're not in place, they hire somebody that is local, that allows them to get the knowledge of the area in a better way. That's what I have for this team. Guys wanna add anything else that I'm?
We're working with Vinesh as a sub to another contract now in Palm River. And although that project is not finished, we feel very confident in how she's directed our approach to writing the code for that overlay district.
Okay.
So I do have some knowledge of the work that Vinesh does.
Ganesh is the sub-consultant for that, yes.
Yeah, I noted that they presented a very good, methodology and approach to their work in the response. Also the credentials and awards, particularly credentials with the National Threat Institute and the credentials and awards from the CNU, Congress for New Urbanism, particularly form-based code, and some of the other work they did with Lake Wales and the also the project experience that included Panama City, Bradenton, Hillsborough County Affordable Housing, and Tampa Transit Emphasis. So it was a very comprehensive response, a lot of experience and credentials.
Yeah, like the other member said, I know that they're a very well established, qualified firm. With experience in a lot of different levels. Like was said, some doing faculty work. In addition to being planners, the one area that I had a little bit of pause with is the fact that the majority of their regulation work is only form-based codes, or primarily form-based codes. I think if with a county project, that may not always be something that we are wanting to do, so I was a bit unsure on how they work in a non-form-based code environment.
Good. And that's a valid point. So whether or not, the idea of having consultants with this variety of knowledge is that we need to use somebody for a special area plan or special area form-based code, we can use it. Whether or not a form-based code will work in the entire Hillsborough County, I don't think that will never happen. In fact, I have talked to some of the community where they have worked, these things are not applied county, jurisdiction-wide, they're always done on a special area, special corridor, stuff like that.
So I have a question.
Yes,
So do you guys, when you have a project, do you send out a request for proposals to all the qualified firms?
the
And have
first,
them send it back?
the first that we selected to be qualified today are the only ones that are gonna receive.
Right. So everybody has an opportunity to say, well, that's not really our cup of
Correct.
tea. We're
That's
not gonna-"
correct.
Okay.
And they always have the opportunity. For example, I have seen firms that probably one type of area is not as strong their expertise, but they are able to integrate a team that they really know that. I've just in case, the city of Tampa just did a code project to revamp their code, and they hired Clarion, which is one of the best code firms in the country. But Clarion asked Dover Code to be part of their team in case that they needed to deal with any special areas. So at the time that the project is proposed, they will be able to assemble the team that best fit the needs of the project that we have in question.
So what I understand, like, for example, if we had needed to update like our parking or something like that, we would put that out to all the qualified.
That's correct.
firms, and they would have an opportunity to respond and demonstrate that they have experience specifically for parking.
For parking, yes,
So that includes internal in their team or their sub-consultant, and
correct.
they can make that case at that time.
That's correct,
For the job.
correct.
And that was laid out in the solicitation.
All right, so with that being said, are we ready to rank this consultant?
Yep.
All right, so I have qualifications, it's the first category, I put 39 for them. So the way this is working as a consensus scoring, so the numbers that we're gonna say, they're gonna be taking more or less as an average,
Or consensus.
or consensus, and she would write the number, and that's the number is gonna be reflection.
For
Okay,
each criteria.
for each criteria.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm good with double quote for 39 and qualifications.
40.
40.
40.
So let's say 40.
Okay.
All right. The only reason that I can add the 100% on that category is because I feel that you need to have some engineering on the team as you draft regulations, because they bring another perspective. And there are many designers. So that was the only reason I didn't put the full amount in that case. All right, so next it will be experience, and I put 40 on that.
40.
39.
And 30.
30. So 40, I said 40, 40,
39.
39, and you say 30? So that would bring
35.
35, 38, 37. Is that, what would be the average of that?
It's more of you.
It's more a consensus. So what drives you to do 30 in this case, more or less?
For this one, my main concern was that their primary
Form-based code?
strategy for LDC regulations could be form-based code, which again is
In one of the
certainly,
projects.
is certainly welcomed and not a bad strategy. I just was unsure about in cases where that doesn't work, what their experience gives them to recommend.
Okay,
So most of the county's still Euclidean zoning.
yes.
Yeah.
Very large county.
Yes, very, very large county. And it serves to reason. Victor Dover was one of the founding members of the Congress for New Urbanism, which is to create a new
Yeah.
urban form. And that is where their
That's their,
expertise, that is their sweet
Expertise.
spot.
That's kind of how I
understand that.
factored into where I ended, what I thought the score would be is, yeah, they are heavily kind of seem architecturally based and maybe the proposal didn't really speak a whole lot about, LDCs in terms of how we apply them in the county, but we also have, a lot of overlays and special areas where we start to get a little more into architectural side, so, I kind of factored into my score, looking at 39.
yeah,
And, like you said, it's gonna be based on those individual projects, so there could be a project that comes up that's heavily architecturally based, and they would at least appear to me to be very qualified for that.
yes. If it's something that is more design based,
Yeah.
architectural overlay, special district,
They would
there,
very,
there are a lot of qualified people here, but probably this team will be in the top.
for that particular.
For that
yeah.
particular, so for that reason, I don't wanna, you may have other work that is more Euclidean that probably other team members would perform better, so. I don't, it's, so again, I got 40, 40, 39. Do you wanna stick with the 30 or do you wanna?
I think I could certainly, given the form-based code experience and out of all of the ones, they would be
Mhm.
the one you would, naturally, I think, go to, bring it up to like a 38.
Okay. All right, so let's say 39.
That's still a very good score.
I know they're very impressive.
They think outside the box
We,
for sure.
we. are
Yeah,
all
and
very
I like
familiar
that.
with that. Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sometimes we don't have projects that allow us to be that creative.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, and the last area is their approach and innovation. I would do 20 there because they are innovators on what they do, so. And the way that they present their projects and they integrate participation and the techniques that they use, I'm comfortable with 20 there.
I got 15.
You got 15.
Based on their proposal, I gave them the 20.
Mhm.
Sexual approach.
Yeah, I gave a 15 as well.
So that would be 15, so it's 17.5. All right. So any other comments regarding double call? I think with that,
Yeah.
I mean, are we good? All right. So the next firm is Fireplace Maker. Who wants to introduce Inspire? Huh? Well, I'm not.
They're a relatively new firm, but
Yes,
the people that are in the firm have tons of experience.
yes,
Tons
yes,
of experience.
that's correct.
And I have worked with some of them when they were at other places and admire their work.
Anybody want to add something?
I guess the one thing I would add that I liked, kind of similar to what Rebecca was saying, is it seemed like a lot of them have public sector experience, which I think is extremely valuable when doing plans and regulations and visioning, because they have that real world experience on what would work, not work, how to deal with local officials and what may be received, not received. So I thought that was a very good quality that they had.
I also like that they mentioned historic preservation planning
Mm-hmm.
because that's a expertise that needs special touch. And they also listed a legal reviewer, which we know is very important,
Mm-hmm.
as part of their team. So they got good scores from me.
Yeah, I noted that they, more or less, they were made up of a group that was only part of SME and pointed out their proposal. They have quite a bit of projects focused on LDRs. I think they definitely emphasize that very well in their proposal. Quite a bit of work around the state, including Pensacola, Lake Wales, Sumter County, Manatee County, and Estero.
I liked there's information they gave in their proposal about conflict resolution,
Mm-hmm.
and specifically, sometimes it's an aspect of teaching. Not just getting information and regurgitating it back, but sometimes there's a level of education needed by them to the public or to an elected official to help them understand why it is that they're proposing what they are.
The breadth of their experience that they show in the proposal, from comprehensive planning projects, land development code, community redevelopment. Here it says they had 62 land development code projects. That's quite a bit of experience. And much of that is in the state of Florida.
Like Michelle, I'm like, they understand what it feels like to be us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that impression.
And according to the references, I was able to check the references for them. Talk to Cynthia Cannon in Pensacola, and they really like to work with them, especially for what you said. It feels like it's an extension of staff, very professional, very responsive, and they feel that they have the technical proficiency to address this type of work. Also, how they interact with the groups. And we, in public meetings or the online community, they help to keep staff in track. And that I kind of understand that because we have so many things to do. So they're always calling us to make sure that we follow the projects we need to follow through. So that was as far as Pensacola. They completed an audit of the LDC in 2023. Also talked to Craig Holland in the city of Kissimmee, who also have a great experience. They have worked in the CRN, and they did a form-based code there, well, type of hybrid code for that community. And very impressed with the work of Pat, what is her name? Pat Tuschinski. She's very well known. So it seems that people like to work with her. again, the same, they know how to network with staff to get stuff done, and that's important. The other thing that they said is that, they like the interdisciplinary and that they can bring, landscape architect, they can bring a PE, they can bring all these, expertises to the project, so. Yeah, that's what I have. I mean, the combined experience of all the members, they submitted 22 members to be part of the team, with an average 33 years of experience. So that's pretty impressive.
I guess I thought I was supposed to do the reference check for this one, so I also sent out. But I did get a response from Craig Holland at Kissimmee, which basically in writing said everything that he apparently told you on the phone. So
Okay. Perfect.
thoroughly double check references.
Very good. So are we ready to? So in my case, I did 39 in qualifications.
40.
40.
40.
Did 40.
Let's do 40. Experience is 39 for me.
40.
39.
I did 40.
So that's 35 and a half, or do you want to say
39
40?
and a half.
Do we
Yeah.
want to do 40? Do we want to do 40?
What were our numbers again? I said 39.
This is an experience.
2 39s and 2 40s.
Oh, okay.
That's unfair.
Yeah, I'm
What do you suggest?
Oh, it's all up to you.
I like that. Let's do 40 here.
40? Okay.
All right, and approach, I have 19,
20.
20,
20.
20,
20.
20. So let's do 20. So we got a perfect 100.
And then you're checking the DBE differently. Okay.
And I give
We
that
have
at
to-
the end.
Okay. Okay.
All right,
More next.
Kimmy Horn, yes. Who wants to
I'll start with them.
introduce Kimmy Horn?
I'll start. So a lot of the Hillsborough County, projects that they listed that they've been a part of, I was involved too. So
So,
I know exactly how those projects went. We're using them on 3 projects right now in our department, as well as kind of an extension of staff, because we've lost so many transportation plan staff. They are always ready to help. And when we tell them we have a firm deadline, they either meet it or, they overwhelm us with how they put so much importance on helping Hillsborough County. And they're right down the street.
that's great. Again, what I saw, I mean, I know Clarence and Jared and Kelly, they are wonderful planners. The team that was, and Elisa too, that was recently joined from, another firm in Orlando, to Kimmy Horn. They have about 23, they submitted 12 staff members. The number is 23 years of experience, and they have been with the firm at least 12. So that's a stable staff. The staff that have less time there is because they were absorbed from Kimmy Horn from other firms. But they are pretty well qualified. They have a variety of projects here. We know them pretty well. They are a trusted partner. A lot of visioning, special plans. Didn't see a lot of work on LDC, but a lot of work on visioning and the special area plans. That's what I have. We did not run reference on this staff member because they are already under contract. They perform well under the previous contract, so we don't feel the need to do that. Okay.
They're a large national firm with lots of qualified professionals beyond what they included in this proposal. They have a big footprint in Florida and a long history of planning projects with Hillsborough County. I did in past position with the city of Largo as a planning manager several years ago, five or more years ago. Had them work on one of the projects that's listed in the proposal. And so I had the opportunity to see their work for a special area plan, and everything they submitted in the proposal relative to that project is spot on. So they're very qualified.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with them. I know they do a lot of local work. Like some of the others have said, I've worked with some of their staff on projects. More recently with LVC work. And I thought they did a very good job, and they were always very helpful. Like you had mentioned, always eager to give their advice and recommendations, and, worked well with them.
I'd also like to add that if you understand politically that we can't do something that they're recommending and you just say, can't do it, they don't argue, they just go back, they change it.
Correct.
Really,
They don't, they just,
Yeah.
the client's always right, and that's appreciated, because I've worked with some folks that would really push back, and
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I felt when I worked with them that they listened and were responsive and understood. They didn't try to push anything.
They gave us their best advice, and then
Right. A lot of good advice. I think they worked really hard.
Just remember, your scoring is based on what they submitted. You have to-
Yeah, they had mentioned the projects in there, that I was involved with.
Okay.
all right, so we're ready to rank them. Got qualification 40,
40.
40.
40.
it's a 40. Experience, I got 39,
40.
40.
40.
it's gonna do 40. And in approach, I put 19.
I put 20, and they actually called out a program that I had never heard about called Public Coordinate. And I'm like, oh, something new. So 20.
20.
20.
$19.
19, so that's 2 19s and 20, and 19.5. All right. So we got 3 of them already evaluated. Let's do the next one. It will be Johnson.
Sure.
Anybody want to introduce Johnson?
They're a firm I've never worked with before.
Huh?
They're a firm I never worked with before.
Yeah, I haven't had any interaction with them. They're out of Naples, so Naples, 4 miles area. So let me say what I found on their application. Since that the firm was established in 46, have 79 years in business, 130 employees. They do a lot of work in planning, but they are interdisciplinary, have a lot of engineers on their staff. The average, we find out that the experience of their staff, it's about, they presented 7 staff members with the average experience of 17 years, have been in the firm for 11, 3 HCP, 1 PE. And they have been working mainly on Collier County, Estero, North Fort Myers. A lot of work related to what we're looking for. This is the firm that probably knows the LDC, the Euclidean work
Yeah.
pretty well. They have that market. I work with airports too, which is interesting. Don't know if you guys want to add anything else.
Yeah, I have noted their work with Lee County, Collier County, Andrew County, Charlotte County, Fort Myers, Hollywood, Bonita Springs, Lee County, Port Authority. They've been around for a long time. I have not ever worked with them, but, or had any contracts with them, but, they seem to have full range of services, engineers, planners, landscape architects, surveyors, so a very diversified professional, group. And experience in land development codes.
Mhm.
And I did the reference checks. I sent out emails to all three of the references that they provided. They're Collier County and responded favorably to all the questions about the work they had conducted for them, an incentive-based zoning overlay. That included land development regulations. They there were positive responses on how they did their work and how they delivered. Also, City of Estero, that reference came back similarly with positive responses on their quality of their work and their ability to deliver on a project for preparing its first City of Estero's first comprehensive plan and land development code, Village of Estero, excuse me. But that was very impressive. And then it's the third one. Did I say Collier County already?
Mhm.
Collier. I had notes all written up and I lost them, so I'm just going through the emails that Collier County, there were two different projects in Collier County that I had got reference from two different staff members and likewise they came back with all positive reviews.
One thing I noticed is that it was in the request and they, I think in a matrix pointed it out, they don't have any experience in TDRs and form-based code.
I noted that too.
Well, they keep it honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
certainly, certainly.
It's like we just discussed, maybe
Yeah.
they wouldn't bid on things that.
Exactly. That's perfectly right.
One of the most important things that I noticed from my experience is under client satisfaction. They said maintaining a single project manager is the cornerstone of our success. We just went through a project where they changed out the project manager 3 times.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. And that's, it delays the project, we lose momentum, and that is so super important.
Good to know. That's interesting. Is this a big firm that did that? They were shifting the project manager to another more profitable project.
Well, the first project manager, which worked for Inspire.
Oh,
Yeah. So we still had him, he's still, but he wasn't on that project.
all right. So we're ready to rank this firm, Johnson. We got a qualification. I have, I put a 38, and the reason why is because we got just 3 staff members there. We don't have the depth staff that we have in other firms, and that's the reason that I put 38.
I put 40.
39.
39,
I'm seeing 38.
38. So 39, 40. So we are in 38, 5. Is that? Well, then we want to set it for 39. It's up to you guys. Everybody else have had 40 in that area so far.
No, just me, 40,
39.
39.
I said 38.
Yeah, so
I did 38 too. So you said 39? Yes.
Okay.
So in experience, I put 40.
experience, they're down because they didn't say they had any form-based code or TDR, and we were talking about that in the beginning.
Yeah,
So I initially
true.
put 36 for that.
okay.
6.
36. Can we do 37 on that one? Okay. 37. And approach, I put 18.
20.
19.
Is it 19? Perfect. So we got one firm less. And it's way trim.
I'm the one that did the,
You want to introduce that? Yeah,
reference check then.
since you did that, can you introduce them? please?
Yeah, so, Waitron's been around a long time. I called, Joanna Cotu in Citrus County, Florida. She, could have made a commercial for this firm. She she was very complimentary of their professionals. She explained that they came on board to replace a firm that just wasn't working out. And that now they're just giving them more and more work. The fact that they're here in Tampa and they're in Citrus County, she said was seamless. They were there when they said they would be there. She also said that they came in under budget on their biggest project. And I said, wow. And she also said that just like our board, they've had shifting politics recently in their county. So trying to make, they have 5 commissioners, trying to make them all happy and make them heard, and then still make them feel comfortable with the code that they wrote, I thought was important. She said navigating their builders association for some of their corridor planning was also very tricky, and they did that beautifully. So she gave them high marks.
Brad Cornelius is a seasoned planner, and he has been planning director for Sumter County. He was planning director for Cape Coral. He has been on this business for a while, so he knows the ins and outs. He's very seasoned. He understands the politics pretty well. He understands the public pretty well too. So, and the team that he has with him, I know Amanda. Amanda does good work too. So, and I know that they're very responsive. Was surprised that they didn't put more. It seems that they didn't put more of the planners that they have on site, because this firm is based on Michigan, and they have an office here in Tampa. So they have other planners in Michigan, but they didn't put as part of the proposal. They listed in the bottom, but they didn't make it, you know.
Yeah, I noted that as well.
Yeah.
They're one of the bigger firms and they have a larger footprint, but they didn't showcase all the other
Yeah.
staff and the team that they presented here in the proposal, but,
Probably thinking that, you know, if I bring somebody from Michigan and I show work from Michigan or North Carolina, what would that matter to that municipality? Probably. I see it a different way. I see it, well, it brings some perspective.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
I think work in North Carolina, where they said they had
Yeah.
projects, you know, how are they doing there? And what does the built environment look like as a result? So,
But it's a big firm, 23 offices, 9 states, doing planning since 1984, so,
they did underscore 40 years of experience with code policy.
yeah.
Like the other one though, they stated they didn't have experience in form-based code and PDR.
That's not the forte.
they're just solid
They keep
utility,
it honest. Yeah,
Yes.
keep it honest,
policy planners.
clean, yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with Brad Cornelius before as well, and like you said, I do feel like he's a very seasoned professional and very good to work with and good working relationship.
Perfect. Any other comments? Yeah, I'm ready. How about, for qualifications, I have 38,
At 40.
40.
38.
is 39. Experience, I have 38.
36, and it's only because they didn't have any form-based code or TDR.
Yeah.
At 39, similarly, the lack of form-based code experience in the proposal.
And I'm 38.
So this needs to be a 38. I think in approach I put 16. Didn't see anything out of the
Yeah, that's
ordinary.
18, and it's just because there's nothing new under the sun.
Exactly.
Team.
19.
So let's say 17. And with that, do,
I'll read through the scores just to reconfirm for everyone. So for the Image Network Inc., doing business as Dover Cole and Partners, I have criteria 1, a consensus score of 40. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 39. And criteria 3, a consensus score of 17.5.
Okay.
Everyone in agreement with those scores?
Yes.
Okay. And then for Inspire Placemaking Collective Inc., I have criteria 1, a consensus score of 40. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 40, and criteria 3, a consensus score of 20. Is everyone in agreement with those? Okay.
Mhm.
For Kimley Horn and Associates Inc., I have criteria 1, a consensus score of 40, criteria 2, a consensus score of 40, and criteria 3, a consensus score of 19.5. Is everyone in agreement with those?
Yes.
For Johnson Engineering LLC, I have criteria 1, a consensus score of 39. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 37, and criteria 3, a consensus score of 19. Is everyone in agreement? And then for Wade Trim Inc., I have criteria 1, a consensus score of 39, criteria 2, a consensus score of 38, and criteria 3, a consensus score of 17. Is everyone in agreement with those? Okay. So now, I will now announce the scores for criteria 4, the DMDWBE bonus points for a maximum score of 5 points. There were 3 proposers that submitted paperwork for the bonus points. Inspire Placemaking Collective Inc. submitted for the DMDWBE bonus points, and the Economic Development Reviewer has calculated 5 points. Johnson Engineering LLC submitted for DMDWBE bonus points, and the Economic Development Reviewer has calculated 5 bonus points. Kimley Horn and Associates Inc. also submitted for DMDWBE bonus points, and the Economic Development Reviewer has calculated 5 points. So since we have all the scores, I will now announce the total consensus score for each company. For the Image Network Inc., doing business as Dover Cole and Partners, the total consensus score is 96.5. For Inspire Placemaking Collective Inc., the total consensus score is 105. For Kimley Horn and Associates Inc., total consensus score is 104.5. For Johnson Engineering LLC, the total consensus score is 100. And for Wade Trim Inc., total consensus score is 94. Based on the consensus scores, you find all the proposals qualified?
yeah. I mean, all the firms are qualified to do the work. It's depending on each, there's some that are more in strength than others, and it's based on the type of assignment that we have. But I think we agree with the score.
Okay,
Yes.
so I will consider the meeting completed. We will get the recording of the meeting posted as soon as possible. I will complete the spreadsheet for the consensus scoring and print it out before you leave so that everyone can sign. And so just give me a few minutes to do so, and I will now close the meeting. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you.